Hello everyone, this is Houndawg, flying with you again in another historical aircraft from the past 100 years of U.S. Navy carrier aviation. Today is 15 July 1951, and we are in the infamous Grumman F7U Cutlass on board the USS Shangri-La CV-38.
Radio check, 123, 321, radio check. On June 1945, the Navy began a new project to build a carrier-based jet-powered day fighter able to fly at 600 miles per hour at an altitude of 40,000 feet. Chance Vought was one of the 6 companies that submitted proposals for the new aircraft. Vought was considered to be an innovative company, having already pioneered the use of lightweight materials in their first carrier-based jet fighter, the F6U Pirate. Unfortunately, the Pirate proved to be a big disappointment to both Vought and the Navy, and this initial failure motivated Vought to design and develop a cutting-edge fighter that would hopefully restore their reputation. By this time, captured information developed by German aeronautical engineers during the war demonstrated the use of swept wings to solve the issue of compressibility effects, a critical problem at speeds over 500 miles per hour when wing-induced downwash on the horizontal tail would cause the nose to tuck under, resulting in stick forces too great for the pilots to recover. Valdemar Voigt, a former senior engineer at Messerschmitt during the war, participated on the Vought design team using lessons learned while at the forefront of the innovative German wartime aviation industry. On 25 June 1946, Vought presented their design solutions to the compressibility problem and won the competition with a unique, if not odd-looking aircraft. The F7U Cutlass featured broad-chord, low-aspect ratio wings that swept 35 degrees and were almost as wide as they were long. It had twin vertical stabilizers mounted on the wings on either side of the short, stubby fuselage, and no horizontal tail stabilizer. The Cutlass had tricycle landing gear with a very long nose strut required for the high angle of attack takeoffs and landings. The pressurized cockpit was well forward on the fuselage, and the pilot sat in an ejection seat over 14 feet in the air under a bubble canopy. The folding wings were fitted with elevons or elevators, which combined the function of elevators and ailerons. There were no landing flaps, so leading-edge slots running the full length of the wings provided the low-speed lift required for carrier landings. Initially, 4 speed brakes were installed with 2 clamshells mounted on the trailing edge of each wing and the other 2 located under the leading edge of the intake ducts. The latter proved ineffective and were later removed. Vought anticipated that the control pressures at higher speeds would be excessive and gave the Cutlass a 3,000 psi hydraulic flight control system with a manual backup. The Cutlass was powered by 2 Westinghouse J-34 turbojets in the fuselage that would later be upgraded to the J-46 turbojets with afterburners. It had a maximum speed of 697 miles per hour at sea level. It was well armed with 4 20mm cannons in front of the engine intakes and 4 wing hardpoints with a bomb load capacity of 5,500 pounds. It could also carry rocket packs with multiple unguided rockets or 4 Sparrow air-to-air missiles. To meet the new demands of the Cold War, the F7U was also designed to deliver a nuclear weapon. 3 prototypes were ordered in 1946, with the first example flying on 29 September 1948, piloted by Vaught's chief test pilot Robert Baker. The maiden flight took place from the Naval Air Station, Patuxent River, Maryland. During testing, one of the prototypes reached a maximum speed of 625 miles per hour. 2 more prototypes were completed, and all 3 were promptly lost to crashes. The Navy still felt that the Cutlass had potential and pushed ahead with an order for 14 F-14 production aircraft. The Cutlass was severely underpowered, which in turn created serious safety issues and notoriously poor takeoff and landing wave-off performance at the carrier. The F-7U's poor safety record resulted from numerous issues, including the application of advanced aerodynamic theories resulted in serious aircraft control issues, such as the deadly post-stall gyration, insufficient thrust from highly unreliable engines known to catch fire often or completely flame out in rain or when firing the 20mm cannons, and an unreliable and high-maintenance, high-pressure hydraulic flight control system. The Cutlass required a high angle of attack during carrier approaches that resulted in extremely poor pilot visibility and the frequent collapse of the tall nose gear when slamming down on the deck, causing spinal injuries to the pilots. These problems soon earned the F-7U the nicknames Gutless Cutlass and the Ensign Eliminator. The improved F-7U-2 was supposed to fix the control reliability troubles, but the Navy decided to cancel their order for 88 of the type in favor of the F-7U-3, which was one-third larger and fitted with a set of higher thrust J-46 turbojets with afterburners. The F-7U-3 made its first flight on 30 December 1951, but was still woefully underpowered. Still, some pilots considered the upgraded Cutlass to be fast, nimble, and fun to fly, especially with its 570 degree per second roll rate, 3 times that of other production fighters. The improved Cutlass was also a stable bombing platform, although its combat range was the pathetic 150 nautical miles. In the spring of 1954, after 6 years of flight testing, 3 carrier suitability trials, and almost a decade of development, the first F-7U-3 Cutlass fleet squadrons became operational. Early squadrons found out that the new improved Cutlass was also the most complicated to maintain. In spite of the continued safety issues and accidents, the Gutless Cutlass deployed on 6 carriers for a total of 7 cruises between 1955 and 1957. In fact, additional versions of the F-7U were ordered, including 12 for photo reconnaissance and 98 capable of carrying 4 Sparrow missiles. The F-7U was the first tailless aircraft to go into production in the United States and the first jet fighter in the U.S. designed from the outset with afterburners. The Cutlass was also the Navy's first swept-wing jet and the first with a steerable nose wheel. It had the first high-pressure 3,000 psi hydraulic artificial field flight control system. It was also the first fighter to catapult from a carrier with nearly 2.5 tons of external stores and weapons. The F-7U Cutlass was clearly too advanced for the turbojet engines available at the time, but it did inspire today's more successful aircraft such as the Grumman F-14 Tomcat and the McDonnell Douglas F-A-18 Super Hornet. Over 320 Cutlasses were produced for the Navy, with more than 1/4 destroyed in accidents. In the end, the F-7U would cost the Navy 4 test pilots and 21 regular pilots. The last Ensign Eliminator was drawn from service in 1959, a mere 7 years after it was originally introduced.